that I posted on the JMU site, or the tag today, called Twitter is fun, but LinkedIn is for adults. And it's about the idea that LinkedIn is the place where your professional presence, where you have your most professional foot forward for people. And I think anyone who considers himself a grown-up, when you get to that point, and that doesn't mean you can't have fun or play around, you need a place online that's totally professional. So that when people see you in these other spaces, they can click over and see who you are professionally and get that nice linear outline of what you're about. And so I came up with that title last night at like 1 a.m. I thought that was pretty nasty, actually, the whole grown-up thing. And then the next thing is in your headline. Well, first of all, for your name, I read some stuff last night actually about this. Just put your name. Don't put a bunch of little MBA, CPA, la 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 stuff after your name, because you don't want to clutter that line. And that's just what other people are saying, and it seems to make sense to me. The headline, and I thought this was interesting because it's not how I was using the headline. So some of the stuff, literally, I was on my profile yesterday updating it, and I probably every few months go in there and see a few things. So yesterday I was like looking up some of this and saying, oh, okay, that makes sense. So one of the things that I just found yesterday was that your headline, which comes right under your name, should be something that's telling people what you can do for other people.
But before we talk about LinkedIn, I think the most important thing to talk about is how many of you Google yourself? Google. Doesn't that sound funny? Like, mental science, you Google yourself? I don't think they think it means what I think it means. So, Googling yourself is very important because, for instance, I just talked to a recruiter yesterday, Jennifer Brigham Group Associates, and she was telling me some horror stories about recruiting and what she's seen. And one of those stories had a very great candidate, amazing candidate, had the background she was looking for, had the connections, had the network. She did a Google search, and she said that she couldn't believe what came up about it. He had 3 foreclosures, he had a bunch of other stuff, so she didn't hire him based on his Google search. She loved him for his LinkedIn profile, it was all complete, but couldn't hire him. I'm going to tell you one secret though. It doesn't matter if your profile is 100% complete, if you're not going to use LinkedIn the correct way. It doesn't matter. And if you use LinkedIn the correct way, it will become 100% complete all by itself. The 3 main steps to make your profile complete are 1, fill in all of your background information. It's important that they see that. If you're an older worker, it's okay to put in more than 10 years. I know that a lot of people are telling you only put in the last 10 years on your resume, and I agree with that. But if you're going to be on LinkedIn, I want you to put that all the way back to when you started working. They're going to find out anyway when they do the background check on you. They're going to know how old you are. So give them the best pieces of who you are online. And number 2 is, it's important because they want to source other people that you worked with. For recommendations, for referrals, for connections, that's why it's great. So the first thing is you want to make sure your profile is